Hello everyone, I've got another render for you today, but before we get into that, I do want to throw out an apology for those that were looking forward to the Aestus render. While I was rendering it, it wasn't coming out right, and it made it more apparent of my own limitations in Fusion 360. So for now, it's on hold. I do plan to come back to it in the future, but I have to learn a little bit more about the ins and outs of Fusion before I can actually do that project, because it is a lot more complicated than I thought it was going to be. But worry not, because it will come in the future, because it is a render that I do want to complete, because it will be necessary for a future cosplay that I have and have had in the works for a couple of years now. But enough of that. Let's get into the current render. This one is called Excalibur Morgan and is wielded by Saber Alter in the Fate franchise. It can be seen in the visual novel during the Heaven's Feel route. It can be seen in two of the three Heaven's Feel movies. It's in Fate Grand Order, it's in Fate Unlimited codes, and in quite a few other Fate related, pieces of media that are out there. Now, this sword holds a very special place in my heart. When I was comfortable enough to start taking prop commissions back in the day, this was actually the first commission that I did. Someone I knew was going to be cosplaying Saber Alter, and they asked me if I would be able to build this. Now, I took it as a challenge because I had never actually done a two-handed sword before. I had done like a couple of gauntlets and some stuff here and there, but nothing like this. And all my other builds had been for me. It hadn't been for anyone else. So to tackle my first commission, it was a very daunting task. But I got it done. My client liked it. I was pleased with the way it turned out. And looking back on it, there are some things that I want to improve on when I do build this again. Like I want to add LEDs to it. I want to change the way the handle looked. And I also want to change a couple of things that I did with the blade itself and the paint job, since now I've kind of got airbrushing down. Not pro level yet, but, almost there. At least for cosplay related things. But yeah, some of those changes that I just talked about, I was able to actually put into the render in the way that I think it should look. Now, when I was going about doing this, I was originally just going to skip straight to when I do the sketch, or when I had the sketch done, but I felt I wanted to show you exactly how I go about doing the entire process. So what I did is I went online, I pulled up the official artwork from the visual novel of Excalibur Morgan, and did the sketch over it, and then started doing the actual 3D model part of it. Now, doing the sketch, that is the most important part of doing a 3D render. Because if your sketch is off, then your 3D render is going to be off, and then it's going to not look that great. And I actually kind of made a small error when I was doing my sketch, and you'll see it like towards the end of the video. But it wasn't a bad fix, I guess you can say. But still, it was a fix that needed to be done after I'd already like rendered the handle and everything, so it just was a little hiccup that I had to overcome. But yeah, doing the sketch, you can do a couple different things. You can do lines, you can do curves, you can do circles, squares, what have you, whatever you need to do. I tend to stick to just straight lines, 3-point arc, and the conic line, or conic curve. I think it's called the conic curve. But yeah, to achieve certain to achieve certain looks cleanly, you have to kind of play around with all the different drawing features that are in here. But yeah, once I actually got the sketch done to a certain point, I was able to start, making 3D objects. I started out with the hilt, just because that was the easiest part and it's the thickest part. So from there, I was able to figure out, okay, like handle has to be like this, and the blade has to look like this, and then everything just kind of fell into place from there. But doing the inlays, the red inlays in the blade itself, that was the toughest part of this entire render for two reasons. One, the shapes are complex. Those little like circles or little weird telephone looking shapes that are in the blade, they interconnect with each other, and you have to kind of take a little bit of, creative liberty with that, with how they go. And my reference picture was kind of blurry when I went, pretty zoomed in to try to get the curves right. So what I actually ended up doing was I dug into my my figures that are in storage, and I pulled out my my Saber Alter figure and got her Excalibur Morgan, so that way I had something to physically reference while I was doing this, and that actually helped out immensely. Thank God it wasn't too deep into my storage, so it didn't take me that long to actually get it. But yeah, once I actually got that done and I pulled back, I was happy with the way it looked, because up close it didn't look that great, but when you pan back, it looked pretty well, in my opinion. But yeah, once I actually got the physical material on it, as they call it in Fusion, or the paint job, as I just like to call it sometimes, I really liked the way it looked. I tried to toy around with a couple of different appearances for the red parts, but it was like they call it a gemstone. So I took the ruby and I threw it in there, but it was just transparent, so there was just a void. So I decided to just go with the classic red. But I was able to tweak the paint job a little bit. It doesn't really translate that well, but I tried to do like a really, really, really dark purple instead of just a straight black. But I know it's there. And that's probably the kind of paint job I'll do when I actually build this again in the future. Now, as for future renders, I'm kind of at a crossroads as to what I want to do, so I'll probably put up a Twitter poll on it. There are 4 projects that I have on my little sheet of things that I want to do. One of them is, well, 2 of them are from Rising of the Shield Hero. I either want to do the base shield or the raid shield that Naofumi has in that anime. There's the Elucidator Sword from Sword Art Online, which is the black sword that Kirito wields in the first season. And most recently, because Princess Connect Redive just came out on the phone. It's another gacha game. And for those of you who don't know, I'm addicted to gacha games. It's bad, but I enjoy them. They help pass the time. But I want to actually try to render Pekarine's sword. But I don't know what to render next, so I'm going to leave it to you guys to vote on it, and then whatever wins, I'll work on that, and then we'll go down the list of what was most popular to least popular, but they'll all get done. In the future, I also want to try to do a couple more original designs, just because I have a lot of fun, coming up with something and bringing something to life that I created by myself is always a cool process. Like the Calliotric Flail was really cool. The microphone that I did for Calliope Mori was really cool as well. My Scorpion Kunai that I made. Those are really cool because I get to flex my creative muscle for a little bit. But yeah, hopefully you guys can help me out with that. As we're wrapping up here, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone so far that's been following the videos, liking them, spreading them around to your friends and fan base. It means a lot to me, being a small creator. It's just kind of getting into this, and since I don't tag my stuff the way they should, they don't get as much of a reach. So it really means a lot to me when you guys, share my work around. And I try to do the same with everyone else that is a creator and, shares my stuff. as I said, it means a lot to me. Because this is something that's been keeping me sane through this quarantine time we're in. But, yeah. Thank you guys for stopping by, watching, listening to me rant. And I hope you enjoyed the video and are looking forward to the next one. Stay safe out there, everyone, and hopefully we'll be through these crazy times soon. Again, I am Don with Overedge Props, and this has been my Excalibur Morgan 3D model. Thank you. See you in the next one.